During a heartwarming family dinner, my daughter-in-law revealed, "You've hidden your incredible storytelling ability, Dad." The aroma of pot roast filled Jack's home, blending with whispers of nostalgia and laughter that momentarily chased the shadows away. The dining table, crowded with faded family portraits and worn furniture, stood like a testament to years gone by, a warm embrace of the past. Jack, a dedicated mechanic, wore his grease-stained shirt like armor. To him, the clattering of plates and the joyous banter echoed like the revving engines. He tamed every day a language he understood but seldom spoke. Laughter flickered and danced around the room until a surprising silence fell when Emily, his daughter-in-law, stood up. Her words pierced the air, electrifying everything. "You've hidden your incredible storytelling ability, Dad." Jack's heart jolted. Doubts surged through him like oil through an old engine. What could she possibly mean? The lively chatter faded and he felt raw, exposed. The eyes of his sons flicked from Emily back to this father who seemed to shrink away under the weight of her statement. That a memory surged. Jack envisioned his younger self, bursting with tales that could ignite minds and craft worlds. But as the years stacked up, dreams slipped into silence, buried beneath the grit of duty and sacrifice. His sons, caught between a desire to respect him and chase their own ambitious dreams, exchanged uneasy glances as if caught in a tempest. What did she mean by hidden? His life had been a tapestry woven with hard work, sweat, and yes, sacrifices. Was that not enough? The laughter that once rang in the background now crumbled, giving way to painful truths that clawed at the surface. Jack could feel the warmth of the pot roast turning cold. "Dad, it doesn't mean you aren't enough," one of his sons finally mustered. But the apology fell flat. The unspoken weight pressed hard. Jack realized he had ingrained the notion of hard work being the only measure of worth into his family, stifling their dreams in the process. That hit deeper than any grease-stained knuckle he'd encountered. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. A hush lingered in the air, each family member wrestling with emotion. Hope and hurt spun together like a carnival ride. Jack realized he had been shielding himself from vulnerability, neglecting the power of storytelling. That life isn't just about the cars you fix, but tales of love and sacrifice that build legacies. Suddenly, a quiet knock echoed through the home. The doorbell rang, piercing the tense moment. Jack stood frozen, an unexpected visitor threatening to reshape this pivotal evening. Who was waiting beyond that door? Surely the path to self-discovery and acceptance was beckoning him. But would he dare to answer? His heart raced as the scene deepened, leaving a breathless anticipation in the air. Jack hesitated, his hand hovering over the doorknob as he felt the electric pulse of the moment. What would this visitor bring? Hope? Fear? A message that might change everything? The silence in the room was thick. Even the children, wrapped in their small worlds of laughter, sensed the shift. He opened the door, heart pounding. Standing there was an old friend, Mike. His face weathered but familiar. Time had etched lines into his skin, but the warmth in his eyes was unchanged. "Jack, I hope I'm not interrupting," Mike said, a smile breaking like dawn across his worn features. When Jack invited him in, he was enveloped in a wave of nostalgia. Mike wandered into the living room, giving a hearty wave to everyone. "Wow, it smells amazing in here. Pot roast, right?" His eyes danced joyfully, settling on the family around the table. The tension thick in the air dissipated slightly, but Jack could feel how still everything was. "Yeah, just a family dinner," Jack replied, taking a step back to let Mike find his place among them. His stomach churned with mixed feelings. Mike was not just a friend. He was a reminder of a past filled with stories, tales of journeys, of adventures they had lived together before responsibilities had drawn them apart. As Mike settled in, Emily leaned forward, her curious gaze watching Jack. "So, Mike, we were just talking about storytelling. Jack has a knack for it," she prompted, clearly wanting to bring the focus back to Jack and the dormant tales nestled within him. "Jack, the last time we went fishing together, you had everyone in stitches with that tale about the 6-pound bass that got away." Mike laughed, nudging him lightly. You were a natural storyteller back then. Those words danced in Jack's mind, sparking flickers of old fires. It was true. He once ignited every gathering with his knack for spinning yarns. But those days felt distant, like flickering light from a past hard to grasp. Jack rubbed the back of his neck, feeling the familiar weight of insecurity. I don't know, Mike. I feel like age has dulled my edge. He glanced at his sons, watching them absorb every word, their eyes reflecting the longing for stories, the connection they once shared. Oh, come on, Jack, Mike replied, leaning back, his eyes playful. You've got stories to tell that would knock the socks off anyone who hears them. You've lived a life worth sharing. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Emily chimed in, her voice filled with encouragement. That's the spirit. You have a gift, Dad. Maybe tonight is the night to dive back into those stories? Jack's pulse quickened. The insistence in their voices stoked a flicker of courage inside him. Perhaps this was the juncture he'd been unknowingly waiting for. Taking a deep breath, he looked at them, his family who sought his stories, who yearned for the man behind the mechanic. You really want to hear my tales? He asked, a slightly shaky smile breaking through. Absolutely. His sons echoed. Their excitement lifted the heaviness in the room. Just as Jack was about to open his mouth to share his first tale, the phone rang, cutting through the moment like a sudden storm. He hesitated, glancing at the screen, an unknown number. The urge to ignore it clashed with something deeper. This was his chance to reconnect, to let his voice be heard again. What if it's something important? He asked, stepping toward the phone, torn between the past and present. Would he risk losing momentum in front of his eager family? The anticipation hung heavy. If he answered, would it change everything? What did fate have in store for him tonight? As the call rang on, Jack stood at a crossroads, the weight of choice resting squarely on his shoulders. Jack's heart raced as he picked up the phone. The voice on the other end was muffled but filled with urgency. Is this Jack Thompson? It was a question carrying a weight he couldn't ignore. He glanced back at his family, their eager faces awaiting his stories. Every instinct told him to hang up, to step back into the warmth of the room and share tales that had been waiting patiently for a light. Yes, this is Jack, he replied cautiously, keeping his voice steady despite a rising tide of uncertainty. Jack, this is Kelly from the community center. We've been trying to reach you. There's a big opportunity coming up for local storytellers. We want to feature your stories at the festival next month. The words washed over him like a cool breeze on a hot day. A festival? His mind raced, full of memories of old stories that danced just out of reach. Could it be? After years of silence, years of hiding behind the walls of routine and everyday life, this could be a way back to himself, a chance to rediscover joy and reconnect with a community that had once thrived on his storytelling magic. But even as excitement bubble-fizzed in his chest, doubt crept in. I'm not sure I'm ready for that. It has been a long time since I've shared anything like that. He stammered, glancing at the eager faces of his family who'd been waiting for him to speak. Jack, we believe in the power of your stories. You have a gift. My own kids still talk about that night when you told that one tale about your first road trip. You can inspire others. Just think about it, she encouraged, her voice steady and inviting. He wanted to believe her. Just a few minutes ago, he felt an ember of possibility ignite within him, but now it flickered, uncertain. Could he really summon the strength to dive back into that world? Would his voice still resonate? Jack felt his family's eyes on him. Their silent encouragement washed over him like a warm embrace. He could picture Emily, bright-eyed and hopeful, waiting for him to unleash stories that had been locked away too long. He inhaled deeply, feeling the delicate balance between past and present. Before he could respond, Mike stood up. Jack, hey, don't decide anything just yet. You've got your family here, the kids eager to hear what you can share. Remember those stories, the laughter? This is your chance. The sound of their voices buoyed him. His heart pounded as he realized this wasn't just an invitation, it was a gateway. The thrill of possibility doused his doubts, igniting a spark of courage he thought had faded. Yeah, okay, I'll think about it, he finally replied, still holding the phone tightly. Great. Just let us know and we'll have you on stage, Kelly said, her enthusiasm vibrant. They exchanged quick farewells, and as he hung up, Jack turned to his family, their faces brimming with encouragement, but there was a deeper question lingering in the air. Are you ready to dive back into those stories, Dad? Emily asked, her eyes shining bright as if already imagining the tales about to unfold. Taking a deep breath, Jack could feel the moment swell with emotion. Let me tell you about the time I got lost in the mountains, and as he began to weave his tale, the atmosphere shifted, grounding Jack with the comfort of cherished memories and the pulse of new beginnings. Perhaps sharing wasn't just about the stories themselves, it was about rediscovering the man he had been. But as he reached a riveting part of his adventure, the doorbell rang again, startling everyone. Jack's heart skipped. Who could this be now? Was fate itself intervening again? He turned toward the door, curiosity tangled in excitement and uncertainty. What awaited him on the other side? Jack took a step towards the door, his heart still racing from the excitement of his storytelling and the unexpected call. The moment hung in the air. His family shifted with anticipation, whispering to one another as they wondered who could be visiting at this hour. Jack felt a rush of nervous energy, and he hesitated for an instant, his hand hovering over the doorknob. Should I get it? He asked, glancing back at Emily, who nodded eagerly, her curiosity matching his own. Go on, Dad, she urged, her voice bubbling with enthusiasm. With a gulp, Jack turned the knob and pulled the door open, and there stood a young woman, face aglow with a bright smile. It took him a moment to recognize her, but then it clicked. Megan, the daughter of his old friend, someone who used to come to all his storytelling sessions as a child. Jack, she exclaimed, her joy infectious. It's been ages. I heard you're thinking about getting back into storytelling. I had to come over and tell you how much I've missed it. The warmth of her words wrapped around him. Megan had grown into a vibrant young woman, her eyes sparkling with genuine excitement. Just her presence reignited a flicker of hope in Jack, making the once daunting prospect of returning to storytelling feel just a little more attainable. Wow, Megan. It's great to see you, Jack responded, stepping aside to let her in. What brings you here? I've been helping out at the community center too. Kelly mentioned you might need a little nudge back into the game. She laughed lightly, her enthusiasm lighting up the space. And guess what? We're doing a special tribute to the stories of our past. Your name came up instantly. Jack's heart swelled. The idea of a tribute sent waves of emotion through him. This was more than just sharing stories. It was about legacy, community, and connection. His family joined them in the living room, faces full of interest as Megan recounted how she always admired his storytelling as a kid. You made the stories real. I remember being so hooked when you told that one about the pirate and the lost treasure. It was like being in an adventure. Jack felt a rush of warmth at nostalgia's embrace, and his family's eager expressions added to the moment's magic. Emily leaned closer, excitement brimming. See, Dad? People love your stories. You have to do this. But then doubt crept in again, tugging at the corners of his mind. What if I'm not as good as I used to be? What if I can't capture that magic anymore? The sincerity in Megan's eyes softened his fears. But you're not the only one who has changed. We all have. And that's what makes this so exciting. Your stories can evolve with you. Just think of all the new adventures you've had, the life you've led since we last heard them. Her words struck a chord deep within him. Maybe she was right. This wasn't about recapturing the past. It was about embracing the present and sharing who he had become. As encouragement and excitement filled the room, Jack felt the weight of countless stories press against his chest, each one waiting for its moment to be told. There was laughter and chatter as they all recounted favorites from years gone by, and Jack could see it, the pieces coming together. Just then Mike's phone buzzed loudly on the coffee table. As he reached for it, the tension in the air shifted. When Mike read the message aloud, Jack felt a chill ripple through him. Hey Dad. I just got a reminder about the festival meeting tomorrow. The room felt suddenly heavier with gravity. Tomorrow? Jack echoed, a knot forming in his stomach. Yup. That's what you're supposed to prepare for. Mike looked at his dad, eyes sparkling with a mixture of excitement and realization. It was now or never. Jack's heart thudded heavily in his chest. What if he truly could do this? What if this was the moment he had been waiting for? Okay, Jack said, voice steady but full of a newfound resolve. Let us get ready. But as they gathered around the coffee table to brainstorm ideas, another doorbell rang and Jack froze. What could possibly disrupt this night again? Who? Could it be now? Emily asked, glancing toward the door. Jack took a deep breath. I guess we'll find out. But this better be good. With uncertainty dancing in his heart, he made his way to the door once more, wondering who or what awaited him on the other side. Jack opened the door, his heart pounding in rhythm with the doorbell's echo. Standing there was a tall man, a stranger with a warm demeanor and a baseball cap that hit his eyes. Jack's instinct was to step back, confusion painting his face. Hey there. I'm sorry to just drop in like this, the man began, extending his hand in a friendly gesture. I'm Dave, a friend of Megan's. She mentioned your storytelling and I thought I'd pop by to chat. Dave's smile brightened the dim porch, and Jack felt an immediate, if tentative, sense of relief. Maybe this wouldn't be as awkward as he feared. Sure. Come in, Jack replied, moving aside to let him enter. The family buzzed with curiosity as Dave stepped into the living room, taking in the assembled faces. Megan quickly introduced him. Everyone, this is Dave. He volunteers with me at the community center and has some great ideas for the festival. Nice to meet you all. Dave said, his enthusiasm infectious. I heard you're planning something big, Jack. I love a good story. Would love to hear about what you have in mind. Jack felt a mix of excitement and nerves swell inside him again. He had thought about telling stories, but now faced with another outsider, that spark of confidence flickered. As they seated themselves, Jack's family resumed their chatter, sharing fond memories about him and encouraging him to show Dave what he could offer. They remembered the pirate adventure, the tales of brave knights, and the enchanted forests. Each recollection pushed Jack further toward a hesitant acceptance of his talent, but doubt clawed at him. What if he had lost his touch? What if the fire that once consumed his storytelling spirit had burned out? Between bites of snacks, Jack watched his family praise him. Megan caught his eye and leaned close. You have to trust yourself, Jack. Your stories mean something even to newcomers like Dave. He nodded, a flicker of determination igniting amidst lingering self-doubt. Maybe this was his chance to prove it to himself. Oh, I've heard of that pirate story, Dave said suddenly, eyes lighting up. What was it again? The stormy seas? The face-off with the ghost captain? I've been hearing whispers about it for years. Jack felt the flood of memories surge back, thumping in rhythm with his heart. Yeah, it's one of my favorites. A powerful lesson on bravery, he said, his voice steady. It's where the pirate discovers that the greatest treasure isn't gold, but friendship and trust. That's powerful, Dave said, nodding in appreciation. You should definitely share that at the festival, man. Everyone needs a story like that. At that moment, Jack felt the warmth in the room shift. There was something deeply encouraging about sharing his passion. Like that first breath of fresh air after being underwater for too long. As they continued chatting, sharing snippets and ideas, Jack felt a spark. The way Dave was so enthusiastic reminded him of why he loved storytelling in the first place. It wasn't just about the tales but about connecting, inspiring, and sharing experiences. Yet beneath the surface an anxious thought tugged at him. What if he didn't have enough stories to share? Would the community still resonate with his voice, now so distant from that of the past? Lost in thought, he suddenly noticed the time. The festival meeting was just hours away. I guess I need to prepare, Jack trailed off, half lost in his own mind. Just then Emily piped up excitedly, you can do this, Dad. We believe in you. Dave's face lit up even more. Let us do it together. I mean, the more help you have, the stronger the stories will get. A part of Jack wanted to retreat again, to run from the mounting pressure. But there was another part stirring, alive, that yearned to embrace the challenge, to push through and find out what he still could offer. As he stood up to find a notepad, the phone rang again, interrupting the upbeat energy in the room. Jack glanced over to see his old mentor's name flashing on the screen. His heart raced. Could it be another chance? Could it be someone who believed in him? With a mix of dread and eager anticipation, he picked up the phone. What would his mentor say? The tension in the air thickened, and the family leaned in, waiting for him to speak. Hello? Jack answered, a quiver in his voice. But the words from the other end sent shockwaves through him, leaving him breathless. Jack, are you ready to take the stage again? He glanced back at his family, all eyes full of hope, waiting, searching for answers. What could he say next? And more importantly, how would this decision change everything? Jack's hand tightened around the phone, pulse pounding as he absorbed his mentor's words. The familiar voice on the other end had always inspired confidence in him, but now it felt like a weight pressing down. He took a shaky breath, glancing at his family's expectant faces. Yes, I think so?" The words tumbled out before he could catch them, uncertainty lacing his voice. He wanted to sound sure, to feel the rush of excitement that he used to, but doubt flickered like a dying flame inside him. "Good," his mentor replied, enthusiasm cutting through Jack's haze of nerves. "The community needs your stories, Jack. You've got a gift that can ignite imaginations and uplift spirits. It's time to share it again." Jack felt a mix of warmth and panic wash over him. Did he really still have that gift? Had time dulled his edge? He'd spent so long in the background, allowing his stories to collect dust. He looked at Megan, her encouraging smile lifting his spirits. Then he turned to Emily, who was practically bouncing in her seat. Her faith in him was a lifeline, pulling him back from doubts threatening to drag him under. "What do I need to do?" he managed to ask, trying to gather a semblance of resolution. "You need to remember why you started. Get in touch with those stories, feel them in your bones again. The festival is a celebration, a chance to reconnect with your community. Prepare something heartfelt, something that reflects who you are now." Jack nodded, his grip on the phone loosening just slightly as he considered the words. It was more than just an opportunity. It was a chance to reclaim a part of himself. "I will," Jack assured him, voice steadier this time. "I'll find a way." "Great. I'll help in any way I can. Just remember, get into your story's heart, and it will resonate with others," his mentor said, the conviction adding fuel to Jack's flickering flame of inspiration. After they hung up, silence blanketed the room, every eye now fixed on Jack with unspoken encouragement. "I can't believe you're doing this," Dave exclaimed, breaking the stillness. "You already have a following right here. Bring those stories to life." Jack felt the weight of their anticipation lift him. Maybe he had something to give after all. Inspiration surged as he thought back to the tales of hope swirling inside him. Tales of loss, triumph, and connection. "All right then," he said, standing taller. "Let us make this festival unforgettable." He raced to grab a notepad, his ideas tumbling out like stars igniting the night sky. Each story he jotted down brought back memories, the thrill of storytelling. He felt alive, like he could feel the audience's heartbeat echo with his own. Megan chimed in as he scribbled, "How about mixing in some of the memories we've created as a family? That would show everyone who you are today." Jack paused, reflecting on that. Tying his past experiences with current emotions would not only honor where he came from, but also resonate with others who face their own struggles. "Good idea." He grinned, excitement bubbling up. "This is about connection. We all have stories to share." As they gathered round him, brainstorming and laughing about what tales to tell, Jack felt a shift. The intimacy of the moment added layers to his stories, making them richer and more real. This was about sharing his journey with those he loved and the community waiting to hear it. Yet, deep down, a whisper of fear remained. Was he truly ready to expose himself again? "Dad, can we help you practice?" Emily's eager voice pulled him back. "Practice?" Jack laughed lightly, realizing he'd indeed have to face this head-on. Eyeing the notepad, he considered all the themes swirling in his mind while satisfaction warmed his heart. "Sure, I'd love that." He glanced around, feeling the combined warmth of family and new friendships wrapping around him, a protective shield against the doubt. And deep inside, a question flickered. What if taking the stage became the catalyst for the change he'd been longing for all along? With renewed determination, Jack leaned in. "Let us start with the first story." It was time to draw the curtain back on his past and step boldly into the light once more. But just as he was about to share his tale, the doorbell rang again, interrupting the moment. Jack's heart skipped. Who could it be? With anticipation hanging thick in the air, they all turned towards the door, wondering what twist awaited them next. Jack stood frozen, the excitement of storytelling spilling into uncertainty as the doorbell echoed through the room. Each face turned towards him, curiosity gleaming in their eyes. He felt his heart race, a mix of hope and dread swirling inside him. Would it be someone who could support him, or would this moment shatter what he was trying to build? "Should I get that?" Dave asked, glancing back at Jack, his voice laced with anticipation. Jack took a breath, a reassuring nod escaping him. Yeah. Please. I could use a distraction. As Dave opened the door, a gust of cool air slipped in, sending a shiver down Jack's spine. His pulse quickened even more at the thought of what awaited on the other side. Could this be an old friend come to give him a last-minute pep talk? Or was it someone who would bring more questions to his already frazzled mind? Dave's eyes widened, his expression morphing from excitement to a look Jack couldn't quite read. Wow! It's Mrs. Thompson! He exclaimed in a mix of surprise and delight. Jack's heart leapt. Mrs. Thompson had been an integral part of the community for years, the one who organized major events and rallied people together. Her energy was infectious, and she had always made him feel welcomed as a young storyteller, back when his confidence had still been burgeoning. Hello everyone, she chirped, beaming as she stepped inside. The warmth radiating from her filled the room. I hope I'm not interrupting anything important? Not at all. We're just getting ready for the festival, Megan said, her voice bubbling with enthusiasm. Jack felt an odd combination of nervousness and relief. This was the energy he needed right now. As Mrs. Thompson moved closer, he could feel a surge of motivation ebbing in him, light filling the shadows of his self-doubt. Wonderful. I'm so glad to hear a storyteller will be in the lineup. We desperately need fresh voices, she declared, her eyes glinting with excitement. Then she turned to Jack. You know, Jack, I've always believed in your talent. There is something truly special about your stories. It's like you weave magic into words. The compliment hit him like a warm hug. Thanks, Mrs. Thompson. That means a lot to me, he replied, his heart swelling. What story are you planning to share? She inquired. I hope it involves some of the history we've built in this town. I'm still working on it, but I want it to reflect who I am now and where I come from, Jack said, the words flowing with a newfound assurance. I think stories about family and connection will resonate. Absolutely. Bring in those personal touches everyone loves to hear about the shared journey, she encouraged, a fire igniting in her voice. I'd be delighted to help you polish it. How about we talk it through? The idea of practicing his story alongside Mrs. Thompson sent butterflies fluttering in his stomach. Despite the weight of the moment, he felt a flicker of excitement piercing through his fears. Really? You would do that? He asked, his voice barely containing the disbelief. Of course. I've always felt you've hidden your incredible talent for far too long. It's time you let it shine, she affirmed, her enthusiasm washing over him like a wave. Jack exchanged glances with Megan and Emily, who smiled wide. The warmth of support wrapped around him tighter, lifting the edges of his doubts. I'd be honored to have you help. Let us make this festival unforgettable, he said, resolute with a smile. Mrs. Thompson pulled out a chair as if it were a stage and invited him to sit. Now let us start from the beginning. As they settled into a discussion, Jack could feel an electric energy filling the room. Ideas rushed forth, mingling with laughter and encouragement. Each moment felt like a step closer to unveiling not just his stories, but a deeper part of himself. But amidst the excitement, a new fear began creeping in. Could he truly bear the weight of the truths he was about to share? Just as Jack began to find his rhythm, Emily interrupted, eyes shining with excitement. What if we all shared a memory? Something that connects us to your stories. Jack's heart raced again. What could this mean for their family? For their stories? The dinner table buzzed with his loved ones ready to dive in, but Jack's stomach twisted with anticipation and uncertainty. What if the memories they unearthed stirred up feelings he'd kept buried? The door had been opened and countless possibilities lay ahead. Could he face what would come next? As the first memory was poised to be shared, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning of something profound, a journey that would not only reveal his heart, but redefine it entirely. And then, a soft creak broke the atmosphere as another figure appeared in the doorway, their elderly neighbor, Mr. Henderson, hesitating timidly. What did he want now? What story would he bring? Jack felt a chill at this new surprise, the air growing heavier with anticipation once more. As Mr. Henderson stepped through the doorway, the room seemed to hold its breath. His white hair glimmered under the warm kitchen lights, and the cane he leaned on creaked softly as he moved. Jack had known him his entire life. The old man was like a living history book, filled with fragments of shared tales and laughter from years past. "Evening, everyone," he greeted, his voice low but warm, wrapping around them like a familiar blanket. "I hope I'm not intruding. I just felt the urge to share something important." Jack's curiosity piqued as the gentle strength of Mr. Henderson washed over the gathering. There was something about his presence that made Jack feel lighter, as if the old man held a secret that could elevate the weight of worries resting on his shoulders. "Not at all. Come join us," Megan urged, gesturing to an empty chair. "We were just about to start sharing stories." Mr. Henderson smiled and shuffled forward, taking his seat at the table. The group buzzed with anticipation now, each person feeling the pull of nostalgia and shared history. Jack had often marveled at the way the lines of history intertwined with personal narratives, and here in this moment, it felt as if the universe was conspiring to tie them all together even more. "What stories do you have for us tonight, Mr. Henderson?" Jack asked, hoping his voice conveyed the eagerness he felt inside. He could see the old man's eyes flicker with memories, flashes of wit and wisdom dancing behind them. "Well," Mr. Henderson began, taking a moment to gather his thoughts, "I don't know if you all remember the old oak tree at the end of Maple Street?" Excited murmurs filled the room as nods flew around the table. Everyone had played beneath that tree at some point in their childhood, their secret hideout, their playground, their safe space. Jack felt warmth surge through him, memories flooding back, making his heart swell. "I remember the summer of '68, Mr. Henderson continued, his eyes sparkling with mischief. "It was the summer we all tried to build a treehouse. I was just a kid, but we had wild ideas. We thought we were going to craft the finest structure Maple Street had ever seen." There was laughter as he shared details of their clumsy attempts, how nails became more precious than gold when they were using no more than old scrap wood and overactive imaginations. Each story unraveled memories for Jack, shedding light on his own childhood, revealing threads he could weave into his narrative. "What we learned that summer," Mr. Henderson said, leaning forward, "was that we weren't just building a treehouse, we were building connections. Every nail we hammered went deeper than the wood. It drove deeper into our friendships, our sense of belonging." Jack's breath caught in his throat. It was all he had ever wanted, to make people feel they belonged, to build bridges through stories. This feeling encapsulated everything he was striving for in his own storytelling. As Mr. Henderson wrapped up with a tale of a spontaneous picnic they had under that very tree, laughter echoed throughout the room, and a sense of harmony settled over them. Jack found himself laughing alongside the group, the burdens he carried lighter than they had been moments ago. The story ended, but the space was filled with something more profound. It was an unspoken agreement, a bond formed in shared nostalgia and love. Jack sensed the moment was ripe. "Thank you, Mr. Henderson," he said, sincerity spilling from his heart. "These stories, they mean so much. They're part of what I want to share at the festival. And just wait until you hear my next one," Mr. Henderson teased, his smile infectious. "I have plenty more up my sleeve." Jack caught everyone's eyes, wondering where this journey would lead. He could feel the weight of every memory as if they were live wires, igniting sparks of inspiration for his upcoming performance. But then a thought hit him, cold and hard. What if these stories, intertwined with the past, dig up things better left buried? What if he had to confront a part of his history he wasn't ready to face? Despite the warmth in the room, a shadow flitted across his mind. He glanced at each person seated around the table, their faces illuminated with joy and encouragement, yet a knot of fear tightened in his stomach. As the tension mounted, Jack realized one vital truth: by sharing these stories, he might just unearth more than he had anticipated. A deeper exploration of his own truth awaited him, maybe even a revelation he wasn't prepared for. And then, as if summoned by his thoughts, a shadow passed by the window, something large and dark. His heart raced again. What now? What unexpected twist was waiting at the edge of his newfound journey? Mr. Henderson leaned back slightly, the twinkle in his eye dimming as he noticed Jack's sudden change in demeanor. "You all right there, Jack?" he asked, concern lacing his voice. Jack forced a smile, trying to shake off the chill that had settled in the pit of his stomach. "Yeah, just a little caught up in the stories," he replied, his voice almost a whisper. Megan, not missing a beat, nudged him playfully. "You know you can't be scared of the past when we've all shared so much laughter together. It's the good stuff that counts, right?" Her encouragement felt warm, like sunlight flooding in. But Jack couldn't ignore the darkness hovering at the edges of his thoughts. Though Mr. Henderson's stories painted a picture of childhood joy, there lurked memories of a family split by silence and a history he didn't know if he wanted to revisit. Just then, another flash caught his eye through the window. The shadow moved again, more deliberately this time. Heads turned, curiosity matched with a hint of concern, and Jack's heart raced. "Did you see that?" he asked, his voice higher than he intended. "See what?" replied Megan, her attention shifting from the conversation to Jack's sudden anxiety. Mr. Henderson straightened, his gaze scanning the outside. "Could be a stray cat or one of those raccoons rummaging around for food," he chuckled lightly, attempting to ease the tension. Jack, however, found it hard to focus on the humor. He had seen something else and it felt too significant to ignore. "I'll be right back," he said abruptly, rising from his chair. The clanking chairs echoed as he exited the kitchen, stepping into the cool evening air. The breeze rustled the leaves like whispers of things unsaid, and he took a breath, letting it fill his lungs with a sense of urgency as he approached the window. He squinted into the shadows. There was a figure out beyond the oak tree, partly obscured by the branches. Was it just his mind playing tricks, tapping into the worries he'd buried long ago? Jack's heart thudded against his chest. "Hello?" he called out, voice steadying as he took a few steps forward. "Is anyone there?" Silence hung thick in the night, but he could feel the tension pulling taut in the air. Just as he turned to go back inside, a figure stepped out from the shadows. Jack's breath caught. It was a young woman, one he recognized almost instantly. It was Emma, an old friend he hadn't seen in years. Her expression mirrored his mix of shock and surprise. "Jack, I didn't know you were here," she said softly, as if the weight of unspoken words hung heavily between them. The world seemed to shrink around them, memories flooding back. Laughter, tears, and misunderstandings fanned out like cards in his mind. "Emma? What are you doing here?" Jack stammered, emotions swirling. "I came to talk, Jack," she said, her voice steady but tinged with something deeper. "There's so much that's been left unsaid. I think it's finally time to face it." He looked at her, heart pounding as the shadows from earlier merged with the unresolved past heating between them. This wasn't just a reunion, it felt like a reckoning. Jack hesitated, fear and curiosity colliding. "Face what?" he asked, a part of him already dreading the answer as he stepped closer, drawn into a moment that felt like a chapter turning. With the weight of their history hanging over them, Jack knew the shadows wouldn't just fade away. Sometimes they had to be confronted. And for the first time Jack realized the story wasn't just about the past, it was about the future they could still shape together. Jack stood at the threshold between his past and present, his heart racing as he faced Emma. The years melted away in the cool evening air. Memories surged back, both beautiful and painful. He felt exposed, raw beneath the weight of unspoken words. "Jack," Emma began, her voice steady but filled with emotion. "We need to talk about what happened. About us." The significance of her words hung heavy between them, igniting a fire of memories he had long buried, moments of laughter, dreams shared, but also heartache and silence. A cacophony of emotions clashed within him. Courage fought against the urge to retreat. "You're right. There's so much left unsaid," Jack finally replied, taking a step closer. "I didn't expect to see you here tonight. My life, it's changed." It was more than an acknowledgement. It was an invitation to face their shared history. "I've seen the stories you've told, Jack," she said, eyes shimmering with sincerity. "They are your strength, embodying everything you are now. But I'm here to remind you that our stories matter too, our struggles, our joys. We can still find a way back to each other amidst all this." His throat tightened. The whir of family chatter behind him faded, but he could sense their anticipation, his loved ones waiting for him, craving connection and meaning. This was a pivotal moment where he could shatter the silence that had kept them apart for so long. Jack took a deep breath, tensions and fears swirling within. "You're right. I've spent so long hiding behind the stories I tell, not just from others but from myself. I've been scared of what it means to be vulnerable again, to share the truth, to reveal who I really am." Emma nodded, understanding the battle he faced. "It's time, Jack, to embrace the past, the mistakes, the growth. The light you're rediscovering in your storytelling has to include everything, not just the pretty parts." And then, as if summoned by her words, the memories swept over him, a treasure trove of experiences. Those late-night talks filled with dreams, moments of laughter shared beneath the old oak tree, arguments that forged their separation. "I've missed you," Jack admitted, his voice barely a whisper yet filled with warmth. "I never stopped thinking about where you'd gone or what might have been." "I felt the same way, Jack." Emma's eyes glimmered with sincerity. "I spent too long letting time slip by, thinking we couldn't turn back. But we can still create new stories together, find a way forward." At that moment, a wave of strength surged through him. The realization washed over him like a surge of clarity. This was his moment to redefine not just his storytelling, but also his relationships. "Are you willing to help me? To be part of this next chapter?" Jack asked, hope dancing in his chest like a flickering candle. "Absolutely," she replied, her smile bright with promise. "We can build something beautiful." Jack nodded, feeling the walls of doubt crumbling. The warmth of support from his family, the waves of laughter and memories flowed like a gentle tide behind him. He turned back towards the living room, ready to invite not just Emma but the stories of his past into this new beginning. As he re-entered the gathering, the smiles of his family ignited his resolve. "All right, everyone. It's time," Jack declared, his voice a mix of excitement and determination. "Tonight, I want to share stories that reflect our journey. Not just mine but all of ours." The room buzzed with energy, Jack's heart soaring as he saw the eager anticipation in their eyes. Everyone had a part to play in this narrative, bridging the gaps created by silence over the years. "Let us start with something meaningful." As Jack began to weave his tale, a spontaneous energy enveloped the room. Past shadows transformed into light, laughter blending with heartfelt connection. He told stories of his childhood, of hope and vulnerability, wrapped in lessons learned and bonds forged. Emma's presence felt like a guiding light, reminding him to embrace every truth, the good, the painful, and the transformative. With each word he painted pictures of family, love, and forgiveness that resonated with everyone around him. Jack's courage flowed through every anecdote, every laugh igniting sparkles of joy and tears of realization among his loved ones. And in that cherished space, walls crumbled. Each family member felt the rhythm of their shared history, the echoes of healing resonating within their hearts. As Jack finished his first story, the room erupted in applause, but the tears in Emily's eyes spoke volumes. "Dad," she began, voice choked with emotion, "you've brought us all back together." "I've shown you what I've kept hidden for too long," Jack replied, his heart radiant. His family surrounded him in a living tapestry of love, a reminder that every story is woven together, connected by unbreakable threads. Tonight was more than a storytelling session. It was a celebration of transformation, a promise to explore the depths of their shared experiences. Jack smiled, tears of joy pooling in his eyes as the memories swirled. This was their story unfolding, vibrant and alive. "And this is just the beginning, friends," he said with unwavering enthusiasm. "Let us create something unforgettable together." As they dove into more stories, laughter lit the air once more. Jack reveled in the warmth of connection, aware that everyone had come back home to share in their narrative once more. This moment echoed loudly, reminding him that beyond the silence and the fear lay the beauty of storytelling, an ever-evolving journey of love, laughter, and togetherness. And just as he felt their unity wash over him like a tide, he knew one thing for sure: "I'm ready for this adventure." The future, a canvas waiting for the brushstrokes of their lives, now beckoned him with open arms. Now, as the credits roll, it's your turn, dear friends. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss these heart-touching transformations. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Your support matters more than ever. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about the ending. We want to hear from you. And don't wait not even one more second to share instantly this story with at least 5 friends who need this lesson in connection and transformation. Remember, only true fans understand the power of these stories and the importance of support. Join us for more amazing moments ahead.